this is what I'm trying to achieve. And anything that doesn't look like it, please take a leave. Hey loves, welcome back again to my YouTube channel. Don't forget to click the subscribe button. Don't forget to turn on the post notification bells. On this channel, we're all about self-growth, self-improvement, self-development, and all that stuff. So please stay with me. My name is Valerie and you are welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about something that is really exciting. There are going to be two backgrounds in this video. As you go on, as you watch on, you'll see why that happened, you know. But today's video, I'm going to be talking about how to reinvent and rebrand yourself. I'm talking about this because I have seen it happen for myself, and I think that there are other women that this happens for. You know, you're known for one thing and you wake up and you say, hold up, I do not want to be known for this thing anymore. I want to change how people see me. I want to change how people feel about me. And I know that in this world, we're all about pro be yourself, pro do what you want to do, pro don't listen to people. But if you're trying to have a successful life, a successful career, a successful business, you need to get along with people, you know. And in order to get along with people, how they see you is important. So without yapping too much, let's get right into this video. I like to give people like practical examples when talking about things. So I'm going to just quickly look at one person who I know has really like reinvented themselves. And I know that some of us don't like the Kardashians, but I always believe that there are so many lessons to learn from those women, and Kim Kardashian is one person that we could really learn a couple of things from, and I'll explain. Kim went from being the internet girl who was sort of like known for the sex tape with her boyfriend and all of that, till today where she's a mother, a business mogul with 2 to 3 or more successful businesses. I don't know about you, but that is one woman who has sort of like changed the narrative of her life, and there are a couple of other women all over the globe that have done this, and you too can decide to do it today. You just have to make the decision. So the first step to reinventing yourself, decide what you want to be known for. This could be different things, but one thing that I always believe that sort of helps is to first off like identify your core values. I say your core values because as human beings, we need values, we need things that are important to us, things that keep us centered, things that keep us grounded. What are the 3 to 4 most important things to you? What are these? The moment you can answer that question, the next question you want to answer is, what are the 3 or 4 words you want people to think of when they see you or when you come to someone's mind? So for example, it could be kind, it could be dependable, it could be successful, it could be proactive. There's so many things that this could possibly be, but you just need to ask yourself and decide what it is for you, because there are different things for different women. I believe in not all women are the same, you know, so just take time and figure out what these things are for you. The second thing that you also need to do is to create a timeline. I say create a timeline because I've come to realize that as human beings, when we say we want something and we're not looking at, oh, I want to do this in the next 120 days or 3 months or 6 months, we're not as into it as we're supposed to be. And with reinventing yourself, you don't want this to be just another goal that you've decided on again that has sort of fallen through the cracks. So how do you stay on top of this? By creating a timeline. I for one did something like that for myself in 2020. I told myself that when we went into lockdown in March, that by the time we're coming, well, we're not completely out of lockdown, but by the time the world is sort of going back to normal, that I wanted to be a certain type of woman. And if I do say so myself, that kept me on my toes. I was learning, I was growing, I was developing myself, I was identifying things that were problems that I had to solve, because I knew that there was a timeline that I was working with. So create a timeline for your transformation or reinvention journey. It'll just keep you motivated all through. The third thing that you need to do when you're deciding to reinvent yourself is to build new skills. But now here's the thing, before you go on to build new skills, the first thing that I want you to take a step back and ask yourself, especially if you have a pen and paper with you, because I feel like we do need that as we're going through this topic, because there's so much to learn and there's so much to work on, is to ask yourself, what are your strengths and what are your weaknesses? Every human being has strengths and weaknesses. There's no arguing about that. We all have strengths and weaknesses, right? And sometimes our strengths are really good, but we also have weaknesses that we need to find a way to make strengths because of certain things like our jobs or, you know, our families, etc. So say for example, I am a terrible cook and I can't afford a chef, and I do a strengths and weaknesses, and one of my weaknesses is that I cannot cook. And not everyone needs to know how to cook, but maybe because I want to prepare healthier meals for my kids, I would decide that, okay, you know what, I'm going to work on this weakness and make it a strength. Also look at ways that you could amplify your strengths. No human being is perfect, so you can't change all your weaknesses, but just pick out the important things that would help you get ahead, because that is what you're trying to do with reinventing yourself, right? Okay. So the fourth thing that I want you to do when also trying to reinvent yourself is to work on your mindset. Oftentimes we have so many, if you watch my videos about 23 lessons I learned before I turned 23, one of the things like, no way, these people did not take the light while I was filming. I have to face the window. Sorry guys, I really wanted to give you guys background vibes, so it is what it is. Yes, so I was saying that if you have watched my 23 lessons by 23 video, I kind of spoke a lot about like how having limiting beliefs and, you know, certain mindsets could sort of hold you back. And it's the same thing if you thought certain things about yourself in the past. When you're trying to reinvent yourself, this is the time to get those beliefs out of your head, sis. You need to change your mindset about yourself. First off, you need to change your mindset about the kind of things you deserve in life. You need to change your mindset about money. You need to change your mindset about like what kind of jobs you should do based off your background. You need to change your mindset about so many things, because I've come to realize that oftentimes the biggest transformation begins from here before we sit here. Yes. We're going to finish this video whether the devil likes it or not. This is the toughest filming video day ever, rather. So in terms of like working on your mindset, another thing I want you to always remember is that like doors are open, you just need to walk in. That's one thing you always want to remember. If you need to do anything that you want to do, just always tell yourself is that doors are open for me. There's an opportunity for me. There is a lot of opportunities in the world. There's an abundance of opportunities, and I will get the one that I want. So always keep that mindset, okay? Yes. So the next thing that you want to do is to kind of like find people who are already okay. Now before people come for me, let me say that no human beings are the same, and there's not like one group of way to be, but I just think that if you're trying to be a certain way, having people who are already that way in your circle is really good for you, because you know they would like encourage you, you would see up close and personal how they are, so that it's easier for you to emulate. Because the truth is that we're a compilation of the 5 people that we spend the most time with. So oftentimes when you spend time with people, you see that their habits, their behaviors begin to rub off on you. So make new connections, make new friends, make new work friends, new business friends with people who have the type of behavior or attributes that you're trying to reinvent yourself into. Okay? The next thing you're now then going to do is to start doing. So you created a timeline and all of that. You've created like, you know, the skills you need to learn, the steps, everything. You need to start doing, because if you make all these plans and you don't execute them, I'm sorry to break it to you, sweetheart, but you're wasting your time. Because it's not about who's the best planner. Remember, it's about who is the best executor. So you've created this plan. If you're not executing, if you've not started doing the exact things you need to do, okay, so this is not to say that being a certain way is bad, but let's say that I used to be someone who used to be like loud on social media. I would swear, I would fight with everyone, right? And I decided that I don't want to be this person anymore. I want to reinvent myself, right? And in the list of things I need to do, one of the things that I have to do is to go back and delete all my old tweets. If I say, my old tweets are a lot and I don't really want to have the time to do it, it's myself that I'm fooling. No, I'm actually fooling myself, because I'm not doing the work that needs to be done, you know, for me to actually get to this new version of myself that I'm trying to get to. So make sure you start doing, make sure you do the work. It's all about doing the work. Doing the work is so much more important than planning. The next thing that you're also going to have to do on your journey to reinvent yourself is to heal. So heal from like past traumas, things that you've gone through, because as we're going through life, guys, we're absorbing so many things, and we're not really seeing how these things are affecting us, or the parts that these things are sort of like playing in our lives, you know. And when you go on, and oftentimes these things then manifest in like certain behaviors. So say for example, maybe I got brokenhearted one time by this guy, and then I decide that, oh, this is who I'm now going to be and stuff, right? But when I decide that I want to reinvent myself, I would need to change that behavior, but I can't change that behavior if I do not totally heal from that behavior. So you need to go through a healing journey, a healing process. I will not lie to you, healing is not pretty, it's very ugly, it's very messy. But if you go on a healing journey by like asking yourself questions, maybe going to therapy. I'm always pro therapy. I feel like maybe someday I might speak more about the importance of therapy, but therapy would help you fix so many things. And I know that, you know, some people say, oh, you don't need a therapist, pray to Jesus. Jesus fixes so many things, but I'm telling you that even Christians sometimes need to go to therapy. It's good for you, depending on the kind of things that you've passed through. Sometimes you might need really good professional help, which you'll find in therapy. But then Jesus always says, guys, just throwing it in there. So the next step that you want to do on the journey to also reinvent yourself is to find your happiness. Because if we go on a reflection journey and we ask ourselves what truly makes us happy, and we make sure that at all times we're keeping these things around ourselves, we're doing the things that make us happy, when you're reinventing yourself, you're going to find out that the best version of yourself that you're trying to reinvent yourself to is always the happiest version of yourself, right? So you want to make sure that you have many more of the things that make you happy in your life, okay? So if I realize that I'm always happiest when I go to the beach, right? Maybe I should try and go to the beach once every week, no matter, especially when I have a shitty week. If I have a bad week, maybe I go to the beach and I feel better. But just make sure that you're surrounding yourself with the things that truly make you happy. It's different for everyone, and I don't believe that any two human beings are the same. So I would always encourage you to kind of like go on a journey to figure out what that is for you. But just remember that when you're trying to reinvent yourself, do find your happiness. Now, number 9, you found your happiness. You've done all the work that we've spoken about previously, right? But then, how do you actually achieve this? By setting goals. But not just setting goals, guys. I think that I've shared this before, but I'm just going to touch on it again. It's good to set goals, but if you do not have systems to meet the goals that you're trying to achieve, your goals are going to fall through. That is just what it is. That is just how it is. Because goals are an end point, right? But what changes are you making to get to this end point? So I say, oh, I want to go to the mall tomorrow to buy some groceries. And every day I wake up and I'm like, oh, I should have gone to the mall today to buy groceries. Oh, I should have gone to the mall to buy groceries. And I'm waiting for someone to take me to the mall to buy groceries. But what are the systems that I've created to help me buy groceries? Have I tried to create a list? Have I tried to request an Uber when it's time to buy the groceries? Did I decide that, okay, this is the time that I actually want to go and get these groceries? I didn't do any of that, and I'm like, oh yeah, I haven't gotten groceries. It's definitely not going to work. So one hack that I've learned that has sort of like completely changed my life is that every time I've decided that I want this goal, I always ask myself, what are the steps I need to take to get to this goal? And I start working on those steps, not focusing on the goal that I want to achieve, but on the steps that are going to help me get there. So whether it's a personal like lifestyle goal. So one of the things I did last year was kind of like, you know, changing the way that I lived my life, the things that I was moved by. And it was just because, what was my goal? I wanted to have a more fulfilling and happy life. And for me to get this thing, then I had to make lifestyle changes. So that's sort of how it works, you know. I think that the next most important thing is networking. Let me tell you why you should network to reinvent yourself. So you've created this new version of yourself that you want. So your existing circle might not support this new version of yourself. And I'm not saying throw your friends away or whatever. So let's assume that, let's just say that I used to be a little bit wild, right? And in the journey to reinvent myself and kind of like change myself for the purpose of like maybe the career goals that I have, or maybe the life that I'm just trying to achieve generally, I need to change that part of myself. So maybe I have friends that sort of like I made when I had that lifestyle, but now that I am moving to this other place, I would have to like network and make this new version that I've created of myself be the version that is known by some other people, because a lot of people already met the old version of myself, but how many people am I showing this new version, this new reinvented version to? And the thing about like reinventing yourself is that if you reinvent yourself and you hide your reinvented self, then you would not really know if that worked. So you would kind of like need to network, you know, show this self off to people, try this new self you've created off in settings and see if it's working, or you need to go back and do deeper work. I know that we say the whole fake it till you make it, but it's a journey, it's a process. You might try it today and you see that, okay, it doesn't work, I still need to work on this, or I still need to work on that, you know. But you can't just hide this new version of yourself that you've created. You have to show her to the world, okay? You have to show her off. So the next thing that you need to do in order to like reinvent yourself is also to make self-development a lifestyle. If you're coming from a certain place that you've not been a certain way before, and you had to do a lot of growing, a lot of changing in order to get to this new place that you're at, you cannot just feel like you've arrived, because lifelong learning has to be a process, guys. I'm telling you, like, you can never know enough. You can never get to the point where you don't need to learn extra information, or you don't like, you just like, you know what, I'm good, I've learned all I need to learn, I know all I need to know. That's a bad behavior. So you just have to make self-development a lifestyle. So you're always like maybe trying to read books to expand your mind, maybe you're trying to learn a little bit about a new industry, or maybe you're just trying to learn a new language so that you can communicate better with people or seem more sophisticated if you go out to certain places, or you want to be more, have better manners, you want to know more about etiquette, all of that. But you just have to make sure that you're always learning something new. Do not be stagnant, because when you get older, talking to myself included, but when you get older, you'd see that this habit of being a lifelong learner and sort of like picking things along the way is going to contribute to the person that you eventually become. So if you're not learning during that process, is it when you get to your final destination that you're then going to learn? So that's just something to think about. The next thing that you need to do in your journey to reinventing yourself is to stay on track. So staying on track is not easy. I know it's not the easiest thing to do, but there are ways. So you could create accountability circles, you could set reminders, you could try to schedule certain things for certain time slots to sort of like help you. It is not easy to stay on track, but I think with discipline and determination. So in fact, if you don't take anything out from this video, take out that discipline is a very important factor in the journey to reinvent yourself. You have to be very disciplined. You have to be like focused, like this is what I'm trying to achieve, and anything that doesn't look like it, please take a leave. Okay, you have to just remember that every step of the way. And then the last and final thing that I would say that you should do on your journey to reinvent yourself is just like celebrate your wins. You're trying to transform yourself from this person that you did not used to be. Of course, it's not an easy process. So maybe you're someone who used to like slap anybody that talks to you anyhow before, and then somebody talks to you anyhow and you just look at them and you don't say anything. You should celebrate that. It's a really little win, but it means that you're making progress. So that's it, loves. We've come to the end of this video. I really do hope that you learned like, you know, practical tips to kind of reinvent yourself in 2021. It's never too late. You can totally wake up and decide to be a completely different person. I'm not here to tell you perspire to aspire. These are things that have sort of worked for me and kind of helped me on my own journey, because I know that I personally have gone on like a whole growth and development journey, and I know that anybody can decide to do so at any point. And I really do hope you find these tips helpful. If you haven't seen my video on the secret sauce to leveling up in your 20s, you should totally check it out. I'm going to link it. It has all the information you need to even begin this journey in the first instance. Until then, see you in my next one. Bye, loves.